Okay, so what happens when you take the world of gaming, all that super engaging, can't put it down energy, and smash it into the, let's be honest, kind of buttoned up world of corporate training? Well, as we're about to find out, it's a way bigger deal than you might think.
So let me ask you something. When I say gaming, what pops into your head? Is it like teenagers in a basement somewhere, or maybe just a way to kill some time on your phone? For the longest time, yeah, that was pretty much the story. But oh man, that story is getting a serious update.
Because here's the reality. Check out this number, 3.3 times 2 billion. That's not a typo. That's how many people are active video gamers on this planet right now. So, yeah, this isn't some niche little hobby anymore. We're talking about a language spoken by almost half the entire human race. And when something gets that big, it changes, well, everything.
And look, this isn't just happening in one corner of the globe, not at all. Asia is leading the pack with nearly 1.5 billion players, which is just staggering. But you can see right there, Europe, Latin America, they are absolute powerhouses in their own right. Gaming has truly become this universal language of interacting, competing, and, that awesome feeling of achievement.
All right, so we've established it, right? Gaming is huge. It's a massive worldwide thing. But here's the deal. When anything gets this big, its influence it can't be contained. It starts to spill over into other areas. And suddenly, it's not just about entertainment anymore. It's about the very psychology of what makes us tick, what keeps us engaged. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because you've got businesses looking at the billions, literally billions of hours people are spending, totally voluntarily, solving these super complex problems in games. And they're all asking the same question: how do we bottle some of that magic? And just like that, the same principles that have you saying just one more level at 2 a.m. are now being used to train the entire modern workforce.
So what does it look like when gaming actually puts on a tie and clocks in for a 9 to 5? It's really all about taking that incredible magnetic power of play and aiming it right at professional growth and development.
Now, let's be clear. This isn't just about slapping some cartoons on a boring training module to make it fun. No way. This is a really strategic use of game mechanics. Things like points, earning badges, climbing leaderboards, all designed to make learning stick. The goals here are super clear. Crank up the engagement, make sure that knowledge actually stays in your brain, and maybe, just maybe, get people genuinely excited to learn something new at work.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Seriously, think about the last corporate training you had to sit through. I'm guessing you were possibly staring at a PowerPoint, trying not to fall asleep, right? Well, game-based learning completely flips that on its head. It takes you from being a bored observer and makes you an active participant. It's really the difference between reading the flight manual and getting to actually fly the simulator. Which one do you think is going to be more effective?
And, this isn't just some clever little idea a few startups are playing with. Nope, this is a full-blown booming industry. Companies are pouring some serious cash into this, and it's because they're seeing real tangible results.
Get this. Right now, in 2024, the market for this stuff is already sitting at almost $8 billion. So we are way, way past the let's try and see phase.
But hold on, because check out the projection for 2035. We're talking over $72 billion. That's nearly a tenfold jump in just over a decade. That isn't just growth, that's an explosion.
And what's driving that explosion? A compound annual growth rate of over 22%. When you see a number like that kind of relentless, fast-paced growth, it tells you one thing. This is a fundamental shift. This is the new way companies are thinking about developing their people.
So, who's leading the charge here? Well, right now, North America is the biggest piece of the pie, making up 45% of the whole market. This is where we're seeing the fastest adoption and a ton of innovation, mostly driven by those big tech companies and major corporations.
Okay, so we've covered the why, right? It's a massive market, it's growing like crazy. But where is this stuff actually being used? What does this new playbook for training look like out in the real world?
Okay, this part is pretty fascinating. The single biggest area for this today is sales training. And that totally makes sense, right? It's easy to gamify things like quotas and product knowledge. But the fastest growing area, that's leadership development. And when you think about it, it's a no-brainer. You can't afford to have your managers learn by failing on the job. So companies are using these really complex simulations to let them practice those tough conversations or make big strategic calls, all in a safe space where they can try, fail, and try again.
And it definitely doesn't stop there. We're seeing it pop up all over the place, making that first week on the job, onboarding, way more engaging.
turning that super tedious annual compliance training into something you might actually remember, and even teaching those really critical soft skills, like how to communicate better or collaborate with your team.
But what happens when you take this trend, which is already super powerful, and you mix in the most disruptive technologies out there right now? Well, that's exactly where we're headed next. The game is about to change all over again. First on the list, generative AI. And we're not just talking about it writing an email or making a funny picture. In the world of learning, this means it can create dynamic, endlessly different training scenarios right on the fly. So no two employees ever get the exact same experience, because the AI is constantly adapting in real time to how you're doing and what you need.
And then you've got spatial computing. That's AR and VR. This tech literally pulls learning off your flat screen and puts it into a 3D, totally immersive space. I mean, just imagine a surgeon practicing a super complex procedure over and over in VR, or an engineer assembling a jet engine with AR glasses that show them exactly where every part goes. It's wild.
Okay, now imagine you combine those two things. The impact is just staggering. You've got Gen AI creating these hyper-personalized learning plans and spitting out new training content instantly, and then you have AR and VR providing these unbelievably realistic worlds where people can actually practice and apply those skills completely safely.
You know, PwC really nailed this. They said that a workforce that's empowered with Gen AI can manage risks way more effectively than teams stuck with the software from 10 years ago. And that's the whole point, isn't it? It's not just about cramming more knowledge into people's heads. It's about making them more effective, more adaptable, more ready for anything. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you've got the crazy scale of gaming, the proven power of how it works, the explosive market growth, and these amazing new tech frontiers. You start to realize, hey, this is way more than just a passing trend. This is a fundamental cultural shift in how we even think about learning and growing at work.
And that kind of brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? The game is already on. The rules are changing fast. So, is your company ready to jump off the sidelines and press start on the future of learning?